around now. And Astralis, if they win 2, then they could potentially steal the top spot, there you go, from Na'Vi, which would definitely be exciting, but they secure themselves second.
What are you doing? Well, these opening spots are going to, they are putting on
this if they win them both. So yeah, there's a lot riding on this in terms of the standings, and I feel like there's going to be a lot we can talk about. The first map is going to be Overpass, and I think that is that's a fantastic thing in and of itself.
That's true. That's the thing, sort of the great battlefield for these two teams to actually go up against each other, and kind of this matchup as well is a huge one, because when you look at things overall, as we sort of spoke about once again, because of how StarLad are actually shaped up, this is why this match is so predominant and so important, because HellRaisers have looked better and better online. They find their way over at StarLad, dominated quite heavily. They made their way to that semi-final spot, and then, as you said, working through that, how that could have affected things if they would have actually been able to overpower FaZe would have been crazy, because this kind of would have been that exact matchup, right? Now, that's very important to see how that's actually going to affect things coming into this, because this alone could sort of decide where HellRaisers lie among the rest of the top-tier talent. Yeah, definitely.
It's something that we spoke about a couple of weeks ago when it was myself and Hugo here. And we were saying how HR came into the year. They had a very shaky start. They bottomed out at their first couple of games of EPL. They went 0-3 in the major, for example. Just kind of losses across the board, a very bad start. And since then, they've gone from strength to strength, improving gradually over time, slowly becoming this kind of dominant force that everyone was becoming more and more aware of. Then we get Star Series, and suddenly they find themselves right up there in the semis, playing up against FaZe, who then went on to win. And this is kind of like their shot to prove that they could have beaten Astralis had it gone down to it, had they have not lost to FaZe in the semis. So yeah, there's a lot that we can look at in this game, and it's quite exciting in that regard. So yeah, I know I'm very much looking forward to it, and I think it's very interesting to see HR going from strength to strength in this way.
It's true. That's why this matchup is so important as we actually work our way into it, because it's going to be crazy. But the thing is, individually, they need to step up here as well, because even though Astralis weren't able to close that out, and we saw FaZe actually picking up their first huge win. Nico's first big win as well individually. He's always been on Mouse Sports, nipping everyone's heels. He has been the player that's got them into those second place, third place spots now and then. But usually they bottom out. But Nico's always the one trying to carry him through. Now finally he's found a team where he can do some damage. They pick up their first win, everyone's happy. He's finally made it up there. But for Astralis, they did put up a fight. It was such a close game. It went the whole hog. We saw it go through all 3 maps, and every one of them was down to the wire. Going sort of towards the full 40 rounds.
Gut-wrenching to have to watch.
It was insane how close that final is. Now, when you think about it, Astralis playing that good and they lose, coming up against HellRaisers here that couldn't quite edge it out, couldn't quite make it into the final. Astralis are going to want to prove that they're still back on top. They're going to want to lock this down. I think this is going to make Astralis really give it even more than we've seen coming out from them recently.
Yeah, definitely. For both teams, the pressure of this is monumental, not just for the wins in terms of how it will affect the leaderboard, because both of these teams are in a great spot anyway, but just for kind of, showing their potential, showing that they have the talent, and that, Astralis #1 in the world statistically. They've got a lot to live up to. HR, they're trying to prove themselves as this team that came into the year, right down at the bottom, the underdogs, and now they're this huge threat that everyone's very quickly had to try and adjust to and become aware of. And that's kind of classic for HR. They do kind of go for these almost guerrilla-like run and gun times where they'll have this period where they'll just be doing amazing, then they might go quiet for a bit. And right now we're seeing them firing on all cylinders, and it has been a spectacle. So I'm very much looking forward to this. I'm bubbling with excitement to head into this one. But yeah, so the maps are Overpass and Mirage, and like we say, it's the shot at the final that could have been almost, and just kind of the alternate reality of it is an interesting thing in and of itself. But the first map is going to be Overpass, and coming into this, where do your loyalties lie? How are you feeling about it?
I think it's going to be interesting. As you said, being Overpass, it's going to be a hard fight between both sides, but I feel like Astralis are going to have a little bit of an edge coming into it, but purely because of how powerful Device has been recently. And we've seen that coming into effect. That AWP has always been strong, but it seems more so in the past few weeks, he's been tearing his way through. But obviously, we also have to look towards those support players that are going to be aiding their teammates to slip their way through. Now, once we do have a bit of a time before we get into this first match, I want to see some of those flashbangs that allow those support players to actually help out their teammates, and check out some of the top flashes over on Overpass to help you guys at home.
Hey Future Pros, we have a flash for you that should aid in pushing through the monster tunnel on Overpass. This flash should leave your teammates unaffected, while the CTs should be blind as heck. To do this flash, line yourself up over the tip of this bottle. aim over the wall slightly and to the right, and then throw the flash. That's it. This should make the rush B, don't stop strat work way more in your favor.
We're going to see some of that coming into effect. We're going to see those B plays coming out for that T side. But Harry, working our way back into it as well, obviously, it's going to be such a hard fight between Overside here. And the thing is with HellRaisers as well, I just wonder how they're going to perform actually on their T half. Because this is the thing, they play that very slow, old-school Na'Vi style, where it is very slow, very methodical, sexy counter-strike. They're going to try and draw out as much utility as possible, burn the time down to those last few seconds, then go for a late commit to a site. Now, with HellRaisers, though, at times, as you said, when they're not performing to the best, they do always play that slow style, but they don't actually force out as much utility. That comes back to bite them. It just depends. It seems like they sort of show up in two minds certain times. You know, you see them show up one time, and they play very fantastically. That slow style complements them, but then sometimes they turn up, it just doesn't work. Yeah. And that's always the scary factor with them. It's kind of an unknown quantity in how they're going to perform, but that stepping up here into there, I mean, if we see them play well, that's really going to help them out with that slow style, but it's going to be interesting to see. I mean, obviously, Astralis are going to know how to counter that. What are you sort of thinking getting into that? You know, do you think that is going to complement them, or Astralis should just be able to punish that quite easily?
I mean, that's kind of the thing, right? Astralis, they're the best team in the world right now. And, you know, I mean, that's been called into question a little bit, what with FaZe beating them and actually taking at SLI, but still, I mean, right now, they are still, you know, that best team in the world. They have that status. And their map pool's so deep, their knowledge of the game is so strong, and they know all of their opponents so incredibly well that I feel like they're going to be very well versed in how to counteract HR. So we're going to have to see some on-the-fly, off-the-cuff decisions made if we want to see HR have that peak performance. I don't think just going for their usual, very methodical kind of style of play is going to work. They're going to have to try and mix things up, I feel. But hopefully not too far out of their comfort zone, such that, you know, it's a style that we're not really used to seeing them do, because that's something else that sometimes lets them down. They try to switch things up against some of these teams, and that's why occasionally we see them get losses up against teams like Spirit, for example, who are kind of in that lower tier. And that was one of the teams they have lost against on Overpass rather recently as well. And you know, it's you know, a couple of months ago, but it's like, how can that happen when now we're looking at them and we're saying they could beat Astralis potentially? I mean, that's kind of what the issue is with the team is how they play things out. Sometimes they look to be very strong, very commandeering. They're in the driving seat. Sometimes it's the complete opposite. So yeah, there's always that. But looking at benchmarks and stuff, something that, you know, you like to bring up quite a fair bit. The one that interests me the most is when we saw them play NIP, they won it 16-13 on Overpass. Overpass being a fairly decent map for HR. I mean, when you look across the board over at Astralis, when they played NIP, you know, they had things a little bit closer. It went to a whole bunch of overtimes, actually, and ended up being 28-24 in favor of Astralis. They did manage to win it, but it took them a while. So, I mean, you know, NIP, not really the most consistent benchmark to go off. As a matter of fact, very, very up and down. Sometimes looking like they want to try and, you know, reclaim the throne. Sometimes looking like they belong in Tier 7. So, I mean, yeah, maybe not the best thing to look at, but still, I mean, when you look at this, I feel like Overpass is a very good chance for HR to try and get something on the board.
It's true. That's the thing. That's why I kind of look at those sort of results like that do help you to get a bit of an idea. I mean, they're only statistics. They help you so far. They're not going to really tell you the true story, but it's always nice to see where things actually line up with that. So, potential for them actually get some sort of energy underneath themselves, get riled up coming into this matchup, as it is going to be a big one. Astralis versus HellRaisers. It's kicking off. It's all going down right now, right here. Let's see how this one is going to unfold. You can see Astralis early on, very heavy aggression towards that B site. A lot of investment into to utility. And they are going to be caught off guard by Stanko early, but they do punish him. Glaive peeks out, will execute. Bondik goes in, hungry for more. We'll be able to force them back. Zipnix, though, he's on the scene of the crime, Harry, and he is causing a stir. They have completely overthrown the CT defense on that B bomb site.
Glaive's got to watch out, because right behind him, Dead Fox is there, so he's going to go down. It's going to be back up with 3-on-3, and they still haven't got that bomb down just yet. Now, Angel's going to be tagged down low towards short, but they've been able to deny the bomb plant. It's having to rotate round. Ideally, they should make their way up towards A, because there's two players to counteract this perfectly, but not going to take the peak. The bomb hasn't gone down. No, the bomb has gone down, sorry, and it's a 2-on-3. Ticking away. They couldn't quite land the peak. On a Kirby, he was able to get the bomb planted. Now both Bondik and Angel being tagged down, just chipped away at as they try to make their way into the site. You've got to watch out because Dupree's coming in from behind as well. Kirby, 1 HP in a dream, but they can't quite finish him off. He's going to land one on new Angel midair. Now it's all on Bondik. 1 versus 3. Dupree over towards short. There's 5 HP between Kirby and Dupree, but it doesn't matter. Kirby, 1 HP in a dream. 2 frags to solidify that pistol round there for Astralis. And already what we've seen from HR is they went very aggressive in that pistol round, which as we were saying, is a change of pace from them. It's not something we're entirely used to seeing. So did catch Astralis a little bit off guard, but they were more than ready to quickly, regroup and then hit that B-bomb site.
That's the thing, as soon as they were able to slip their way actually onto the site, they could just take it down from the back line. HellRaisers were a little bit out of position, so it was fairly easy for Astralis to actually pick them off. Now, this time around, they just send Zipnix over towards the B site. He's just going to cause a bit of a ruckus, cause a stir, constantly fire out, make his presence known just to stop HellRaisers from any massive over-rotate, whilst the rest of the unit is slowly making their approach what seems to be a late-round strike towards the A site. This is actually very effective as well. Look how many players are now stationed towards that B site. Actually, though, Astralis seeming like they are going to be repositioned and taking the fight towards B. This could come back to bite them if they walk into that very stacked site.
Yeah, Device has spotted out one of the players, Bondic, over towards A, and with his Deagle chiming shots down range, they're looking like they might want to try and rotate towards B. Now, they haven't really probed this A site too much. They just hit Bondic there with the Deagle, and already they're thinking about ducking back over towards B, but instead, Zipnik's going to be shutting the door, looking to rejoin the rest of his teammates. And now the push in towards this A-bomb site. Bondic here alone, trying to land something through the smoke. So nearly lines that up, but not quite. The wall of smokes rain in and cut the site in half. That's going to allow Glaive to get this bomb down. Device, meanwhile, ready to peek on over the top of the boxes. Doesn't take the challenges yet. Bondic going to be boosted on up with Deagle to try and do some damage down range with the high-powered hand cannon, but he can't spot anything just yet. They've fallen on back at a very passive positions. Bombs planted. They're not overextending. They're not over-peaking where they don't need to. Glaive going to be the first man to find some contact. He's spotting out Stico, and he's going to go down as Dupree mops up two on the back of the MP7. Dead Fox able to get one, but it's Glaive from the flower pots to do the damage. It's all on Bondic. 1v4, Deagle in hand, and down he goes. It's going to be the second round going the way of Astralis, so they mop up the Antico. They keep 4 players alive and farm up a nice bit of money on the back of those SMGs.
So the buys will be coming back into effect now. The only thing is for HellRaisers, they still have to let another round slip away most likely. Investment into these P250s though, so there is always a chance, obviously a powerhouse of a weapon if you get up close and personal with the opposition. Astralis have been playing it very smart though. Even in rounds where they do have the upper hand, Harry, they're still playing it out as you'd like to see them play it. Very slow, methodical rounds where they use that range advantage to their favour. This time around though, Dupree, MP7 in hand, he knows he can get a little bit more aggressive, really push into the comfort zone of Astralis, HellRaisers, even as they push their way up. Zipnix will actually get the opener though. Finds the headshot on towards Psycho, hungry for more, will tame another. Takes down Dead Fox. Everyone is starting to hit the deck. Kirby also chimes in as he will eliminate Angel. There's a fourth and final frag going on the way of Bondic. It's just Zero, trapped in the water, looking a little bit confused about where everyone is at this point. As soon as he peeks out, he should be taken down. Does deny the bomb plant though.
Yeah, he does manage to take a fully bought player down in the form of Glaive, so rebuying into this is going to be a little bit more costly. We will just be seeing a gun dropped across to him, so they redistribute that economy a little bit. Everyone now sitting on fairly equal amounts, with the exception of Zipex, who's got $6,000. He's just rolling in cash. Over on the side of HellRaisers, AWP up on Dead Fox, and that's going to be something to keep an eye on, because we don't see one on Astralis to counteract it. So he's looking to try and do damage with that. Of course, the keen AWPer on the side of HR, peeking out over towards mid. Astralis, seeing as it looks to like where they're going to be heading for the time being, as he looks up towards Party, might just be able to catch Glaive on this initial peak.
Dead Fox, very, very effective AWPer. But no one is going to actually take the fight with him this time around. They all do stick back, and this is smart as well. Astralis know that HellRaisers have been playing a little bit more aggressive than they're used to. They're hoping that mistake will come back to bite them, and expected Dead Fox to maybe push into their crosshairs. He has been zoned out though, plays up close personal to the smoke, is going to boost his teammate up in Bondic. Bondic peers over, trying to get some information, and finds a frag as well. Eliminates Dupree. This is a good start. They can actually back off now as well, just try and play a little bit more loosely, play for trades, but they still hold up. Very aggressive. Dead Fox by Toilets, peeking round, hoping to find another frag to make this lead even more for them. Does do it. Takes down Glaive. This is huge so far. Just leaves 3 players on the side of Astralis. And they have to react now.
Device sneaking up long, looking to try and be the linchpin, the thorn in their sides as he makes his way up through the smoke. Going to completely bypass Angel, but he does peek out around the corner. And that's going to be Device dealt with. But it's Zipex to find 2 more. Dead Fox and Bondic both go down. He's got to watch out because Angel's still alive and kicking on the site. He hasn't been able to deny him just yet. And he's buying plenty of time. Bombs rotated around over towards long as Kirby peeks on out. Angel does spot him. The rotate already coming in from B. And actually, no, instead, Zero now going to opt to hold his ground. He quickly realized that Zipex pushed on up. Kirby's here as well. Stico would find one. It's all on Kirby, 1v3. Over towards long and only 5 seconds left. Not going to be able to get the bomb down. Looking like he's going to be found by Angel through the smoke as HellRaisers. They managed to pick up their first round there with the rifles.
Supplies come back into effect here though. It is going to be interesting to see if Astralis can respond instantly, can bounce back and deny HellRaisers from allowing themselves to propel into a good situation in terms of that economy. Dead Fox once again will make a fast approach towards mid. Seems like this time he will actually take the fight very heavy-handedly though. Going to reposition, link up with his teammates on long, and just set himself up, posted up like a sentry, whilst the rest of his unit is a bit further up. Glaive and co though are there. They're all in close proximity. They're getting a lot of information right now off these audio cues as well. This is a huge change in setup for HellRaisers, and it's smart to see them repositioning like this. Playing anti-flash as well, so no flashbangs can actually slow them down, and they're getting so much information right now. Astralis are encroaching a little bit towards that mid control. They're slowly tiptoeing up by toilets, but HellRaisers have a very crystal clear idea of what is going on into the round. Astralis, though, they really don't know what is going on. They can't really peek into anyone. When they do take the fight towards long, Bondic peeks up, says hello, finds an opening headshot. Angel, also one going to go his way. He will be traded out by Kirby, but that bomb is in such an awkward location. They have to push in deep to try and recover it. Kirby and Co have to respond now as well. They want to try and take that long control. Dead Fox is there. Finds one, but that's all he's going to get before he's traded out by Dupree. Leaves them in a 2 versus 3. But look at the positional play of Bondic. They have no idea. He's in the back line. An easy frag comes out as he will take down Zipex. And it's just Dupree trapped on his lonesome Harry. He's so confused about what's just occurred.
Yeah, now he's going to be 1v3, 13 HP as well as he limps down long, desperately trying to seek out Bondic. The thorn in their side that just prevented any sort of savior in this round. They did try and push out long together, have the crossfire set up, but he didn't anticipate Bondic being pushed up so close to the smoke, and ultimately it does just leave Dupree 1v3. So he's going to look to hold on to the AK. As you said, dazed and confused as to even what just happened over towards long. And that's going to be HR to find themselves a second round now. I think we might see Stiga try and make his way up long to grab the AWP, as it is still there. Dead Fox would much appreciate that if he could get it back into his hands. But they've got to watch out because they don't really know where Dupree is over towards long. When they realize the bomb hasn't been picked up, I imagine we're just going to see him go for it. Yeah, there we go. So they do save the AWP. They save 2 rifles as well. Plenty in the way of money starting to build up. Plenty of weapons as well. And on the side of Astralis, Force Buy is going to be the order of the day as they invest in Tech-9s. A boatload of utility up behind the AK of Dupree.
This is the thing, that utility could be the difference maker into this round as well. Sure, you only have the one-man army in Dupree, but if he can get an opener, you can use that utility to make your lives a million times easier and just confuse and play mind games with your opponents in HellRaisers. This could still be a winnable round. Dupree kicks it off, but can he actually find the opening frag? Struggles to control his recoil there, but Glaive will do one better. Finds the opener upon Styko, but look at this positional play from Zero. This could be so good. The elevated angle. He has the high ground. He knows how to use it to his advantage. Rattles down Hellfire from above. Eliminates Kirby. Leaves them in a 3 versus 3. Sure, they have the superior arsenal, but Astralis can still try and pull this out if they can do some damage here, if they can pick off these players. Bondic, so confused, so blind at that point, but he does stay alive, Harry. He slipped himself into a good position. This is a hard-fought fight so far for either side.
Yeah, still at 1 minute and 5 seconds left to play around with it. Okay, down goes Dupree. Zebex has to watch his comrade have his face blown off before his very eyes into a 2-on-3. Bomb still down in the middle of the site, but Zebex trying to do all he can to turn it around, and he does some serious work. Bondic and Zero, they hit the dirt. It's all on Dead Fox. Honing in his sights, downrange, the AWP in hand, does have a kit and a flash to play around with this. He peeks out, going to be caught in the open. The double peek comes in, and it's Zipex to find 3. The hat-trick at the end to round it out for Astralis. 4-2 as they pick up that Force Buy.
Much needed round going through for them as well. This is great, because not only does this completely wipe clean the slate of economy that HellRaisers has, this also sets Astralis up to get themselves into a 5-2 scoreline before they can even bite back into it, which is great to see. Now then, let's see what Astralis are going to work their way through. Obviously, their cash has taken a bit of a hit. They're not looking too great, but it's still good to see. Up-close personal angles being used by HellRaisers. They've been very dynamic so far in their style of play on that CT half. It has been nice to see how much initiative on display. Psycho as well. That is sick. Connects their headshot. Kirby instantly lobotomized at the start of the round. Angel wants to try and show some pistol prowess as well, but it was not meant to be. He does get taken down. Dupree, 1-2-3. Easy as can be. He just picks them all off in an instant. Now they're taking control of that B bomb site. And HellRaisers, if they were hoping to do any damage into this eco, it seems like that dream has been taken away from them.
Yeah, solely by Dupree, the dream catcher. As he did find those 3 frags earlier on. Now Dead Fox is rotated around, has a CZ to play around with, and actually drops the AWP device. So there is a weapon on that site they want to try and save, or at least scavenge, trying to wreak some more havoc. They found 2 frags on the back of a relatively cheap investment, but it's Zipex to land them. 2 shots penetrating through Dead Fox to kill Bondik. They go down together there, and that's going to be 5-2. 3 rounds the advantage to Astralis at this point. An amazing play coming in from Zipex, who's doing absolutely insane. 12-2.
This is good to see. I mean, this is the thing, right? When we looked at this and we spoke about it before, obviously, I mean, if we think back towards Star Series actually as well, Zipex was actually going crazy there. He was really hitting all of the clutches. He was playing phenomenally, and he's still living up to that. This is great to see because we need that extra little level to rise out of Astralis. dupreeh, though, could be walking into a trap if he isn't aware. Gets one. They drop down like a game of Tetris, and they actually do find the frag, though. He is going to back off. That's Bondik, of course, re-linking up with his teammates. Leaves them on a 4 versus 4, but this does actually favor Astralis at this point. They are going to be linking up as well and taking that play towards long, and Bondik's the one there to try and ward them off, and he's fairly low.
Oh, but now as they double back in through connector, it looks like B's going to be the starting question, backed up by the fact that Zipex is already down there, clearing some ground out towards Monster. Now they're doubling back, trying to make sure no one's gone aggressive in through connector. They didn't have anyone to watch this angle. Stico is nearest by, watching the push out through the connector door, just biding his time here. Has the crossfire set up with Zero as well. They have no one to watch Monster, though, and that's where things could get tricky if we see them rotate back round. Doesn't look to be the case, as instead they're going to try and make their way out through mid. They've got so many angles to check, though, because they left connector open. And not sure if someone has rotated around behind them, so they've got to be cautious. They've also got to watch out because they haven't had anyone to keep an eye on long. Now, Bondik hasn't capitalized on this. He's only now just making his way in towards toilets, and he might get caught out on the back of it as 4 players await him in towards mid. kjaerbye round in the corner, has to check this. Bondik just going to bypass each other for the time being. It's Zipex to walk on in, completely unsuspecting. He goes down like a sack of spuds. Now it's a 3-on-4. Bomb down out in the open, but Glaive catches Bondik off on the rotate because Dead Fox wasn't watching the angle. Finally going to be able to find the refrag. Back into a 2-on-3. The man advantage returned to HR. And now they're pushing towards the site. 10 seconds left. Down to the wire. Dead Fox over towards long, trying to land the spray to deny the plant, but he can't quite do it. The kill does come in, but just a couple of seconds too late. It's all on kjaerbye, 1v3, to try and clutch this out.
It's going to be such a hard task, and obviously Stico will find that kill. Headshot galore. Defuse comes back through as well, and he is going to scavenge that AWP for Dead Fox. This is a very quick round coming through. HellRaisers as well, only losing 2 men. 2 casualties is pretty damn good, as they will have a nice amount of economy to play with into the following round. Now then, as well, Astralis, yeah, so it's on the cusp of them actually taking a hit to that cash flow. They will be able to get the buyout here. But the thing is, it's quite scary moving on to the following rounds. There is going to be no AWP in play for Device. Xyp9x as well, the man that has been playing out of his mind right now, is forced to just wield the Tech 9. A shame he doesn't actually have one of those AKs in his back pocket, as he's been absolutely playing phenomenally. Early peek from Dead Fox towards mid, as we have come to expect, but he doesn't really get too much for it. Not even an information play at this point, as he was blind from the get-go as soon as he peeked and forced to fall back. Astralis, though, are playing it slow as they realize they can't really hit them with a brute force attack at this point. Their utility doesn't really allow them to.
Making their way out mid, you can also see that Device is already sneaking up long. No one's been holding this angle, and they've gone very aggressive over towards mid as they try and remedy how exactly to deal with this mid push that looks like it was going to come into fruition. They have completely allowed Device to make his way into the backline. He's now all the way up long. Angel finally going to be spotting it out, but the bomb's already rotated over towards B, as have 3 players to try and reinforce it. kjaerbye and Zipex over towards long to try and enter on in. dupreeh and Glaive ready to bring the pain in through short, and it's going to leave a lot of pressure on the 2 players here for HellRaisers. Zero and Stake to try and hold this off. 2-on-4 as the push comes underway. Device still just biding his time over towards long. They've actually rotated Angel back round, though, so now there's 3 players on this B site. The best chance possible they have to try and hold back the tide of Astralis when the push comes underway.
They are slowly making their approach towards that B bomb site. It is going to be the place they want to dedicate their attack towards. Posted up just outside of short, ready for the right moment to strike. Glaive will lead the charge. Let's see what the in-game leader for their side can actually achieve. Zipnix will kick it off, though. There's an easy frag going his way. Dupree also does damage. Glaive, unfortunately, will fall. Zipnix goes down as well. Angel is proving to be just that as he defends this site fantastically. Dead Fox also chimes in. The headshot goes through. Kirby's the deck. And look at Device, so far out of position. 2 seconds remain on the clock. He isn't going to be able to achieve anything here. And HellRaisers, they get another round on the board. They link them together. Astralis' economy has taken a massive hit as well. Look at that now. Everyone pretty much broke. They have the AK they saved on Device. They can try and buy up a teeny bit around this, but this is going to be an awkward round. Looking like HellRaisers can now equalize a 5-5 scoreline if they go ahead and pick this one up, as you'd imagine they will.
Yeah, Device just going to be the catalyst rifler for Astralis. Still has the AK, and it looks like charging over towards B. Going to be the order of the day. They try and seize control of connector as well early on as Dupree makes his way in through there, but it's Kirby the first to falter. Zico peeking on out, does find that first frag. Device next to go down. They lose the AK, the only rifle that was in play, the only player with armor, and their bastion of hope already guillotined in the blink of an eye. It's all on Zipnix. This Eco, this Quasi, just completely shut down. Down falls the last remaining member of Astralis as HR find themselves their equalizing round. 5-5, all tied up. But now Astralis have enough money to buy down. This is their shot to retake that lead and stop HellRaisers from building up this scary economy, which is already starting to get fairly ahead of them here.
Yeah, it's really starting to barrel out of control at this point. They're getting into a good position. Dead Fox as well. We need to just see a little bit more elevate out of him. He's been getting here and there critical kills, but we know he can do so much more. The thing is, in those early round peaks, he just hasn't found much success towards mid. They do switch it up now as well. Situated over towards that B bomb site, Angel has taken his place back up towards A. And Dead Fox does actually get the opener here. This is great. Nice switch up in play from HellRaisers. They are able to do some damage. This also makes their lives so much easier. They've been winning rounds where they're actually losing the first frag. This time around, they take the initiative. They get the opening kill on the board. This should be a round for them once again, you'd imagine, as they can just play slow. They can play the style of CS that complements their team the most.
Oh, and Glaive won't make it that much easier. He pushes on through the smoke, but it doesn't matter. Zero going to get caught out and off guard. This Molotov does come in to try and hold back the push. They go over towards the Falter, and able to find one. Does get Device, but the trade comes in from Kirby into a 3-on-3. Bomb's going to be going down. Bondic rotating around through connector. Going to be trying to make his way up through short. It's Angel though to find the first, proving that once again he is just that heaven sent and making his way on in. Bondic, meanwhile, over towards short. Does deal with Dupree. It's all on Kirby. 1 versus 3 to try and clutch this out. A tall order ahead of him as Bondic comes in from short, trying to connect the pre-fire, but he can't quite do it. Bondic there to round out the remaining couple of players. Will get the defuse as well, and that's going to be HR to propel themselves into the lead.
Finally taking that advantage. This is scary as well. We said there was always a possibility of this occurring, but it's looking good right now for HellRaisers. Look at the economy as well. They have an abundance of cash in their back pockets to try and keep them afloat throughout these rounds. Astralis as well now, they have to invest into a very all-over-the-place force buy. They just have to get these Tech 9s out. They have a few smokes to work with, actually. 4 smokes and 4 flashbangs. So there is potential they can actually zone out this B bomb site if they once again want to hit it. One of those has to be used to get rid of that smoke, and it is going to be a fast play. Kirby bounds his way in, hoping to do some damage. Transfers a lot onto Zero, but can't quite kill him just yet. Finally gets the angle, connects the shot. Glaive finds one as well. This is looking good for the Tech 9s. These pistols have so much power in these close-range fights. Angel bounds in towards the scene, though, but it's actually going to be Dead Fox to help him out there, bail him out of that situation as he finds the kill with the AWP. Bondic is the elevated angle as well, though, but Zipnix is close by. Is he aware of this? This could be very detrimental if Zipnix finds the frag, peeks into it, but unfortunately will be dominated. Leaves him in this 3 versus 2 situation. It's looking awkward at this point. It's going to be a hard fight, and Dupree is doing damage, but Bondic can fight his way through it. Will eliminate him. Angel slips in through the back line as well. They have to pick at the same time here. Can they find the location of these Ts? They're hiding, trying to stay out of sight, and they actually do find the kills. Kirby was on short, was able to get the couple of bullets off. Leaves it back into a 6 versus 6. Now they bounce back, but the thing is, they still have so much money to play with on the side of HellRaisers.
Yeah, buying down isn't an issue for them, but the problem that's really being apparent now is look at Device. He's 1-8, and that isn't what we expect from him. We were saying how his AWPings look so strong, and right now, in a very, very pivotal moment for them almost, it seems like he's gone entirely absent, struggling to find anything. Dead Fox going to be coming up trumps in a lot of these duels and already fast out through mid like a speed demon. Glaive up through Park, but a Speed Demon actually resides on the side of HR as well in the form of Dead Fox and Angel, who are both down and over towards mid. Angel finds the trade, looking for another. Device can't connect that shot, and he's been tagged down so low on the back of it. This nade looking to try and cement the frag, doesn't quite connect it. Kirby going to exterminate Bondik over in mid. At this point, Angel's going to be worried because there's players closing in from all sides like moths to a flame. He will go down at the hands of Device. A man advantage gathered up here by Astralis. 2 players remaining over on the side of HR, split between these sites. One over towards B, one on A, and Zico here. Man in question, trying to hold off this A site, just opting to fall back over towards B to play for the retake on A.
Zipex here, making his play towards that B site. He's going to be the one to try and get the information for the side. Makes his way through Monster Zero, though. He has a nice angle to try and deal with him. As soon as his head comes within vision, he should be able to find that frag very easily. It is quite one-sided at this point. But the thing is, Zipex has so much information from this. He now knows that there is at least one player towards that B bomb site. Astralis can slowly tiptoe their way in. They can clear A, checking their angles. As soon as they realize this, they can get that bomb planted. But the thing is, look at this fast rotate coming out. Styko is there, repositions, gets his way over, can make the call to his teammate as well, as he knows there's got to be many men on the site. The Molotovs do start to rain in. The smokes go down as well, but the nade actually bounces over. The mortar strike comes in, blows Device out of the server. Someone else has to grab the bomb. It's going to be Kirby to try and get it planted. He will do so in the nick of time. But look at the CTs now. They're in close proximity. They have so much time to play with. Can they retake this? It would be a huge feat if they are actually able to pick this one up. They peek together, playing it smartly as they try and clear their angles. They bound their way in towards the bomb site. Kirby is so low, and he will go down as well. It's just going to be Dupree left, playing over on the close right by Toilets, ready for the peek to come through, expecting them to push into his domain before they try and tap the bomb. The smoke goes down. His hand is forced. He has to peek, finds the shot back on towards Zero, though, but he doesn't realize the bomb's being defused. It will go through. HellRaisers get it. Will Dupree even get through with his life? No, he won't. Gets taken down. HellRaisers another round in a very dominant fashion.
And a round that shouldn't have been. It was a 4-on-2 when that went underway. Zipex goes down rather needlessly in and over towards B. Does get the information that there's one player there, but then they quickly rotate back up towards that A site, and it was the nade. The fact they had Device planting on a mere 6 HP, that nade finishes him off, puts it back into a 2-on-2, and the crossfire set up at the end there was not good, to say the least. They couldn't trade it out whatsoever. Dupree was isolated, so heading into this, they're going to be angry, trying to equalize this back out into a 7-7 scoreline. Lots of aggression over towards mid, going to be the order of the day, and Device trying to catch off this lone player over towards long, as Dead Fox only just makes it round the corner. Now peeking on out, and Device realizes that he's quite lucky to still be alive at this point. Going to smoke it off. Astralis over in mid, slowing things down considerably as the utility rains on in. The tide of battle has turned, as it looks like HR now find themselves in the driving seat. They try to go aggressive, but Bondik going to answer with some aggression of his own. Now up in the smoke, Dupree sprays on through but doesn't connect anything. He's going to be tagged a little bit, but he's just a master of disguise right now, blending in with the smoke. Going to get one, looking for a second, but he doesn't make it work as Device finds him. But it's Dead Fox to equalize it back out. Frags going left and right. And to hold you through the night, it's all going to be on Glaive to try and secure this site. Now falling on back. Rejoins Kirby, but Zero takes the peak. Does good damage, but will falter. And actually, now it's all on Dead Fox 1v2.
Honestly, that might have actually just cost them the round at that point. Their peak coming through, obviously, tried to make the decision that it would have been the best case scenario. He did do damage, as you said, but leaving Dead Fox now in such an awkward situation. This 1 versus 2. He has no nades here. He can't really do too much. They do peek into him as they had to try and get back across towards shore. He's aware of the location of Kirby, but it just takes one bullet to dispatch him, and he does fall. They re-equalize the scoreline. That is going to be 7-7 once again. And now the thing is, HellRaisers don't have a lot to go on. It's been broken. The economy has been drained from them, and they have to invest all over the place. This is going to decide who gets the advantage working their way through into the second half. Such a close half so far. Fabulous to see it going down to the wire like this.
Now, you couldn't have asked for more than this, and already players down over towards B for Astralis. You can't see that Glaive peeks out mid just to watch the angle. Same with Device and Connector, waiting for the early aggression. They know HR's economy is going to be bottomed out. The peek comes in from Angel, and he pays for that with his life. Zero over towards short, going to be able to obliterate Dupree, but then quickly traded out, courtesy of Kirby. They find themselves with a 2-man advantage. Last time we saw them in this scenario, HellRaisers were able to win it out on the back of finding a couple of key frags. Device might be able to present just that as he makes his way in through Connector. Will go down at the hands of Bondik, but Kirby's in a great place to trade this out. Gets both of the frags necessary. And that's going to be Astralis to win out the half, 8-7. But that's the end of the first half. More action yet to come after a very quick break.
What a close affair there on the first half. Very good to see. Now, this is the thing. You know, I was kind of worried that we'd hype it up as we should have expected this game to go. You know, we're going to invest everything into it. Like, you know, this could have been that iSeries final? This Star Ladder final.
If only.
But it did not go that way. And this is the thing, you know, we were expecting, could this have been what didn't happen? But I was really worried, as we said.
Yeah, we get into it, and Astralis just start to do very well. And then I was worried from that point on, it was all going to be the Astralis show. But if anything, I would say we've seen a lot from HR that I'm very much liking. The rounds that Astralis have been able to win are kind of, you know, one and done pistol rounds every now, you know, where they go for the force buy. Somehow they win them. I feel like if HR can figure that out, then they could find themselves in the driving seat. I mean, you know, they're only one round behind, 8-7 right now as we prepare to go into the second half. And there's been a lot of stuff that I've really liked coming out from HR, and everyone just seems to be pulling their weight. Meanwhile, when you look over at Astralis, Device had a very quiet start, and he was kind of one of the win conditions we were looking at for them. Honestly,
and I think that's kind of been the most impactful factor, because Device has just looked better and better recently. He's had such impeccable form with the Orb. He has been unstoppable, right? That was the thing at the Star Ladder Finals as well that everyone said, you know, it was a hard win for FaZe because of how critical he was with that Orb in play. Now, up against Dead Fox, they're both good Orpers, but you've got to sort of think Device should be winning some of these duels. And it's the fact that Dead Fox was tearing it up. As soon as he stopped playing towards that A site and was just getting information, they started switching it up a little bit into the later rounds, as you said. He went towards that B site, he was getting openers, and this just made HellRaisers' lives even easier, whereas Device, he was just always quiet throughout, and it was really uncharacteristic of him. Scary to see.
Yeah, you know, he's not just losing a Dead Fox. It's not the counter-orping prowess. It's, you know, you see them go for these crazy strats out through mid where they rush the smokes just to try and, you know, go for that very different style of play. Angel in mid, for example, in the round where it ended up being that 3-on-2 that, you know, quickly turns sour when Device gets naded. It was all on the back of him missing that key shot in mid. Angel was just stood there. It was such an easy shot that you would expect him to hit 9 times out of 10, but he just couldn't quite make it work. Another one that I really liked from HR was in round 5, where we see them go for that 3 players over towards long, and it ended up with Bondic maneuvering around the smoke. Great piece of you know, game sets and just kind of movement from him to keep him in positions that they just didn't see coming. They think long's clear, they go in for the push, and he ends up isolating that 2-on-1 over towards long into just a series of 1-on-1 engagements and wins it out for them. Knows that bomb's dropped, there's 20 seconds left, and just retreats back, and it was perfect. Textbook from him. And I mean, I just think we're showing a great amount of skill on the side of HR. They are bringing the pain.
It's true. The thunder is here. You know, they've been kicking off. It's crazy to see. I was going to touch on that as well with Bondic. I've been a huge supporter of Bondic for a long time because he is a very smart player. That's the thing. He has so much individual potential with his rifling skills, right? This guy's an artist with the AK. He knows how to do damage, but he's also very clever. This is the thing. He can get himself into these very awkward situations where normally you're like, right, this isn't really going to work out. But for some reason for Bondic, normally it does actually pull through. And it was really cool to see that. That's why I think this has actually been the best HellRaisers lineup we've seen in a very long time. Purely as well because everyone listens to Angel. You can see Angel's calling style coming to effect heavily with that team. And because they've actually stuck together for quite a while now, you can see the finesse is there. They're not rough around the edges anymore. They're quite smooth, like a little pebble.
Yeah, like a pebble that's been sanded down to become even smoother than what
it
was. Yeah, perfect for skimming. Meanwhile, you know, Astralis, it's looking good. 4 of the edges of it are looking fantastic, and then there's the Device edge of the pebble, which is mangled.
It's got scuffed. Someone's dropped the pebble and it's shattered.
Yeah, but eventually, you know, we might see him make that return, and hopefully we do. You know, I mean, the other thing is Bondic, you know, he always has really stand-up performances on Overpass. It's one that you can tell he's quite at home on. So, you know, he was someone that I always wanted to keep an eye on. I've always been a supporter of him as well. I think he's fantastic. Zero is someone that I want to be keeping an eye on because I think, you know, he's been having a good performance. He's been playing over towards that B site quite a lot. As we head into the second half, I'm really interested to see if he can just continue to bring the heat. You know, that's something he's good at, just applying the pressure, finding the entries for them. And, you know, I'm really looking forward to seeing what they can pull out on their T side. But, you know, Astralis, what do they need to do to try and, you know, maintain this lead? Because it has looked shaky for them in a lot of these rounds. We've seen them pick up the force buys. What would you think, you know, they need to try and do? I know that's a tall order, given that they're the best team in the world and we're...
I think they just need some support. I think they need support from you guys at home. So why don't you head on over to the ESL store, grab yourself an Astralis jersey, bang that on. maybe things will step up for them. Maybe Device will start getting some kills because he needs to step it up into the second half. I think that is going to be the major difference maker.
Yeah, 100%.
Device is such a critical player. He's had a little bit of a shaky first half, very uncharacteristic of him. I think if he bounces back into this, which he can easily, especially on that CT half, right, he is going to be very, very effective if he can get those opening kills on the board, or at least just, you know, step up back into sort of the region we won't expect to see from him. I think Astralis do have an edge on this CT half to actually try and lock it down here and really turtle things back, really just shut this down and dominate here. But scary factor is, I think that if we see an early opener come in the form of HellRaisers kicking off those pistol rounds, that's where it's going to start to get hard to come by. Because HellRaisers, one of these teams as well, they feed off momentum. Especially on that T side, they just get momentum after momentum, and they just become very, very unstoppable. That's why I'm quite scared if they're able to come in early there. Because the things as well, you think of that, about that economy here. We might not even see Device on the AWP for around 4 rounds in, and that could really slow them down.
Yeah, I mean, the other thing is if Device doesn't wake up, let's bear in mind the second map of the night is Mirage, and that's one that Dead Fox is just a beast on, an uncaged animal that's been allowed into the map. And the only player who could really try and counteract that is Device. There's a lot of pressure on him on Mirage that maybe, I mean, you know, you wouldn't normally see him have on his shoulders. He normally is a key player for them still, but even more so now that you're going to have Dead Fox there who can just run rampant on that map. And you know, with that Device there to counteract it, then I think that's a scary prospect in and of itself. I do think Overpass is the one that's going to be the most challenging for them, but I mean, you know, if this goes the way of HR, I could very much see the way, you know, Mirage still being one that's a lot more possible to go their way. A lot of this is going to be on Device. I mean, essentially, it's a 4-on-5 right now.
Yeah, honestly, I've got to agree with you there as well, because with Mirage, like, to be honest with you, I've seen Dead Fox almost single-handedly defend that A-bomb site with an AWP.
Yeah.
He's unreal in terms of his sort of maneuverability and how well he understands how to play Mirage towards that A-bomb site. Genuinely just crazy in some of the stuff he can pull out. And you do need Device. As you said, Device is going to be that counter there, but we're not seeing it right now. And it's such a shame to see because normally Astralis, they are such a well-oiled machine. They all have individual roles that they perform to the best of their ability. But when one of them can't perform, that's when we see these cracks start to show. Now, this could be a completely different storyline if Device was coming into it. But overall, different half, maybe we can see that change come into effect. Yeah. They've had a little bit of time, you know, who knows, HellRaisers might have slowed down a little bit after this break, it's been sort of, you know, a bit of an extended pause. Come back into it though, I think both sides still have so much potential. It's still a close scoreline. By no means are Astralis out here.
No, definitely not. I mean, they're leading the charge.
Exactly.
But, I mean, the other thing though is you got to bear in mind is that Zipex has kind of had a very, very strong start, and then it slowed down a little bit in these last couple of rounds. His scoreline means that he's still right up at the top, but he was 12-2 at one point.
So the first 6 rounds is from 12 frags.
Yeah, we have to kind of acknowledge that it has started to slow down a little bit. And as you were saying, when you see kind of one member of the core and Device of Device,
Team Device.
Team Device. When you see the core of Astralis start to slow down, what we're seeing with Device, that starts to impact all of them. They're a very kind of they're very much built around them being a team. They're not so much kind of the standout players like we see a lot of, maybe the lesser successful teams as well based around is where they kind of have 1 or 2 players who are required to turn up. Meanwhile, on this, it's much more a team effort.
Yeah.
And having Device be absent is something that you can tell has impacted them. They can't rely on him to watch specific locations. You always have to have someone with Device or else he just dies. It's like looking out for someone just because at the minute, he can't fend for himself.
It's true. Let's see if things have been sorted out, though, if everything is going to be golden. They need to change some stuff up. Device the man himself into this pistol round. Let's see what he can actually kick off towards mid. If he can redeem himself here, get some opening frags on the board. We'll get some information and start to fall back, though. Dead Fox is there. He's on his lonesome. The rest of his teammates have worked their way through connector. It's a very early hit. A lot of mid-pressions put out, but they didn't actually get that much information. They peeked through, but didn't spot ready anyone else. Now they reposition. Fast hit towards the big bomb site, but Dupree and Zipex kick it off. Great headshots across the board as they start to slay. Glaive is there as well on the rotate, hammering down that trigger. He will actually fall, though. Bondik does the damage back onto him, but Bondik is the last of his kind right now. Trapped. All on his own. He is taking hits from all over the place. Not looking too good, Harry. Device will take him down as well. Finds the spam in towards the back. Astralis get the pistol round. Great start for them. This further elongates their lead.
Yeah, and they can just go from strength to strength from here on in. They can use it to try and pull ahead. They've already been able to get the first round. There's still now potential 2 more to convert. We can see they're giving a good bit of respect, though, the way of HR. 2 rifles in play. Glaive Dupree and Kirby to try and farm up some cash in the back of the SMGs. HR, meanwhile, they're going to be buying deagles across the board. High-powered hand cannon galore. As we can see, already aggression out towards mid. Stigo, the first to go down. Over the top of the smoke, Glaive finds that. Device looking to try and stop these people from having the party in park. As he rallies the M4 down range, you can see rotating on round. Actually, he's going to be joined by Glaive to try and trade out in case he does go down, but it doesn't seem like that's going to be necessary as he's just lining them up, knocking them down, mopping up these free frags for the time being, and I think they're going to toss the UMP over to him so he can try and make some money. Glaive going to be continuing the reign of terror with the M4. Does find Zero, it's all on Angel, 1v5, and he will fall. Device to mop him up. 7-10, Astralis reach double digits, 3 rounds to their advantage, and they've still got one more anti-eco to convert.
Juicy round there for Device as well, because all of that cash going into his back pocket will allow him to work his way through, potentially get that AWP out sooner rather than later. And he's got himself up into 9 kills now as well. Investing towards the M4, the rest of his teammates sticking with these SMGs. Let's see how they will keep this round going. The HellRaisers shouldn't have too much to bring to the table here. Should be a very quick dominant affair going out from the side of Astralis. Oh, Angel though, won't actually kick it off. The Deagle headshot, reigns supreme, takes down Glaive. Kirby is there, will smoke them off, just trying to ward them out for the meantime, just ripping away with the UMP there as he does find one frag over on towards Bondic. But now he just has to bide his time.
Yeah, now the bomb's actually to reposition out over towards mid, but Device spots it out over at long. He can't connect anything now, having some real trouble, and actually still going to be able to win that duel out. At long range, the P250 prevails. Dupree able to equalize things out best he can, but Angel's just going huge with the Deagle right now, and now Dupree's isolated in connector. Players knocking on all his doors as he's backed into a corner here. He's got to worry about Dead Fox, who's still a real threat. Zipex rotating up towards the A site. That's put out Stika, but he's got an M4 to play around with. He's tagged down extremely low. Stika more than aware of this, switches things out to the P250 to try and finish him off. Round in the corner, Zipex says no, shuts him down. It's all on Angel. 1v2. The Deagle to play around with. Already found 2 key frags with it. He's got to get 4 if HellRaisers want to pick this up.
It would be an insane feat if Angel was able to do this. If they don't actually complement each other though and play together, there is always potential. Angel can be a bit of a beast. I mean, he is the in-game leader that usually leads by example. A very strong player in his own right. He will get that bomb planted though. Seems like it is going to go uncontested as well. He does get that one down for free. Completely aware of Dupree's position now as well as they span into his back. And look at this, he scavenged himself a little M4 of his own. He has that rifle in play, but he needs to try and find the frags. Peeks out, does an awful lot of damage, Harry, but they're peeking from both sides. Zipex will find the frag as well. They do take him down. It could have been a close affair, but they play it smart. They pick it up. Astralis get their 11th round on the board. But that is a lot of damage being done to them. 3 casualties going through. They're going to have to invest quite heavily to get that get those buys back up. You can see the AWP being dropped over towards Device though, and everyone else now back armed towards the teeth. HellRaisers, this is where it gets serious though. They finally have money to play with. They are going to pump everything into it. Dead Fox, seeming like he was contemplating what he actually wanted to do into this round, and they are going to go for the 5 rifle buy. Is this going to spell a fast play?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I mean, they had the money because of that bomb plant just to go for the AWP, but instead they're going to go aggressive out towards mid. Now Device is posted up, but he misses that shot. Going to try and chain together another, but he can't connect it. Tries to go for the wallbang there, and now falls on back over towards mid. Watching it from toilets. Does have Kirby there to trade him out in case he goes down. 3 players for Astralis over towards B, and they're going to be trying to take the aggression over towards short. We can see Zipex and Glaive making their way out, and that's going to give them a lot of information. They know that no one's here. Now they're going to try peeking in towards connector. It looks like they're going to employ the boost, so Angel could get caught on out as he tries to clear out these angles. And if he goes down early on, this could spell a very bad start to this round for HR. Smoke goes down in mid to hold back HR for the time being. Angel spots out the boost, and actually Zipex going to bite the dust. Will be just guillotine there. His head removed swiftly. Glaive now to try and trade this out. Finds himself up against it. Able to get one. Tries to continue the spray. Can't quite connect the shots. And Angel gets himself a second. As you said, leading by example. Dupree now falls on back and towards the B site. Gives up a lot of control towards connector and short. Looking like he wants to take the challenge and pays for that with his life. 3 frags for Angels. He opens up this B bomb site. They've rotated Kirby around, but he's here alone. And HellRaisers haven't even committed to this yet.
Yeah, this is just Angel just on an absolute stomp right now, doing whatever he wants. His teammates have arrived to try and aid him as well. Zero tries to find that frag on towards Kirby, but can't quite do it. And Angel goes and links up with the rest of his teammates. They play it smart. They know that they can take this fight towards the A-bomb site. They slip their way in. Still playing it slow, playing it clever though. The smokes go through. They zone off the CTs. Both of them have to rotate. They have to play together here and try and complement each other. Device will peek out. Knows that the bomb is going down, but can't do anything to try and stop that from his angle. Kirby is there as well to try and complement him. They have one flashbang to aid them into this. It will be distributed over, but he gets eliminated almost instantaneously. Kirby as well realizes that the job is done. He has to fall back. He cannot try and contest this. And HellRaisers will get their 8th round on the board. They start nipping at the heels of Astralis once again.
Yeah, the first half was about as close as it could have been. The second half looks to be no different already as they do just answer straight back, find themselves with the first rifle round of the second half. Keeping the AWP up on Dead Fox. Actually, they're going to be picking that up. So they're going to look to try and utilize that into the next one. Kirby over here towards B, trying to save him. Pits. He goes very close by, but isn't going to discover it. No, he won't be able to hold on to the AK at least. A little bit of money banked up. Zipex with nearly $7,000 on his belt. Device with plenty of cash as well. I imagine we're going to be seeing a force coming out from Astralis to try and deny us. And Device actually going to make the decision to go for the AWP. So clearly they think he's still having the impact necessary. He has been able to pick things up a considerable amount since the start, but he's still missing these key shots that we wouldn't expect him to miss normally.
It's true. You do expect different things to come out from him, and it's very uncharacteristic. Obviously, he hasn't had the most opportunities to actually wield the weapon. We've seen it out, but he hasn't really had many angles to peek into his benefits. Let's see if that is going to change into this round. He could be a difference maker. Play towards the B bomb site, though, it would seem. HellRaisers stack quite heavily over there. They have a lot of utility to play with, so you imagine we'll see that going out first. Angel is dazed and confused. Dupree pushes into him. He takes a bit of a nip at him. He's left on 47 HP, but he does survive the attack. Now, the rest of the unit floods their way through, but look at this. Clever play from Astralis. They completely blocked them out. The smoke's being utilized to slow this push down. Very good stuff on display. They can just wait this one out. It's completely extinguished any chance of a fast play from HellRaisers, and they're just getting picked off. So many angles going to be picked from Astralis. The bomb gets ignited as well. Zipex will find a frag on towards Bondic, and it's just like our left. Trapped on short. 1 versus 5. Highly unlikely he even does too much into this round. So Astralis have instantly reset HellRaisers here. This is going to be a huge feat for them.
Yeah, Styko 1v5. Desperately trying to cling on to the AK. Zipex does spy him out, but won't be his face removed there up close. Now Styko rotating on round. Trying to make his way up towards Monster, but Glave's already there. Faster on the trigger. It's going to be Styko to find that, but then Device to trade things out. It's a 2-for-1, but they take all the weapons out the hands of HR, and there's still a little bit of money floating around. Curious to see if they do decide to buy into this. Now, Styko's got a little bit of money in his bank. Bondic's sitting on some cash as well, so they could try and field something into this round. But I imagine we're just going to see them buy an ammo at $2,000. Maybe pick up some sort of catalyst weapon on the back of Styko, but no, they're just going to opt to play things safe. No point throwing anything away unnecessarily. Meanwhile, Astralis currently 4 rounds ahead. Trying to shut down this mid-aggression. Device up and over towards Party, spots out 2 heads there. Now just looks to fall on back, hold it passively. Has naded Dead Fox. Styko down low. Over towards toilets now, along with Kirby, to try and hold back this push.
Grouping themselves up, playing it slow. They are looking like they will just go for a jump boost there. The old run boost to flood themselves out aggressively on towards long. Bondic has been elevated up as well to try and get some more information right now as they make their approach down through mid. Device into this round. Everything is aligned in his favor, but he misses the opening shot there. Dead Fox was actually able to make his way through. Seems like he actually did leg him. Knocks him down to 62 HP. Angel will try and make his play over towards long as well. You can see just very slow round from HellRaisers. They're still playing it smart though. They're trying to get into positions that actually do complement their pistols, where they can find a couple of opening frags on the board here. So, could do some damage to the economy of Astralis if they are allowed to do so.
Yeah, because of this passive style of play as well, they have to shut down this initial push. If the players fall on the site, the rotate's going to take a while in for the players on B. And okay, there's Device with a nice quick flick onto Angel, showing his AWPing prowess. Buried under a couple of missed shots, a couple of missed opportunities, but is still very much there and alive and kicking. Going to be able to land himself a second as he looks to redeem himself for previous shortcomings. Now he's on 3. Okay, it's the Device show apparently over towards A. Going to get the 4th, even though it's through his teammate Kirby. A mere medium for the bullet to travel through to mop that up. Astralis, they find themselves with a 13th round, 2 rounds away from match point. But HellRaisers can now afford to buy.
Right, that might have been just the round we needed to see coming out there from Device as well. Sure, it was up against pistols, but those flicks were juicy. Now, if we can see that kind of stuff continue into this round here, this is going to be great to see. Device seeming like he's back on form. They've sorted out the issues that were arisen in that first half. Dead Fox, though, he's also got the AWP in his hands. He can wield that weapon very efficiently, but he's knocked down to 31 HP a few mere seconds into this round. This isn't a great start for HellRaisers. This has really stunted them as well now. Trapped as they slow things down. Just playing it slow, holding these crossfire angles, waiting to see if Astralis will peek into them.
HR's just slowed this right down. Zero's watching for any aggression over towards B, and actually looks like Device not going to give it to him. Falls on back in towards the relative safety of the B site. HR making very little progress, being very methodical in their approach, taking this very slowly. Bondic going to be spotted and out crossing into connector, but they haven't been able to isolate Kirby, who's here alone, backed into the corner, back against the wall, but he actually lands too. Angel completely caught off guard. The communication just wasn't there, didn't know where Kirby was, and now he just fades away. Over towards B, Zero trying desperately to find some sort of consolation prize for that, trying to find something to equalize up these numbers just a little bit, but he can't. That nade going to do some serious damage as well. Dead Fox now on 12 HP. And this push just being chipped away at slowly but surely. It was a very slow approach from HellRaisers, and they've been punished for it. Now it's a 3-on-5. Dead Fox just limping around, almost dead already, and he is going to fall at the hands of Device, who has looked to have been woken up. Now the push coming in from Stico and Zero. Bombs down out in the open. Device going to take the peek. He will falter, but Kirby and Xyp9x quick to mop it up for him and redeem that fact. It will be a 14th round for Astralis. 1 round from that point.
Definitely different from what we expected coming into this. They have stepped it up massively. Everyone has been popping off. What we needed to see coming out. Device has had a phenomenal performance into a couple of these rounds now with the AWP. Hungry for more, it would seem, as he is going to go for that fast peek towards mid. No one really going to be there to greet him, though. It is a heavy aggression towards that B bomb site. Bondic leading the charms, it seems. Yeah, been slowed down, though. The Molotov comes in, and we'll force them to just wait this one out before they continue on their warp off. Nade goes in as well. Look at that splash damage. Nicely done.
Yeah, because they get spotted, it's only going to take one measly bit of utility up towards short to slow down this whole push, and that's exactly what we're going to see. Already Astralis just circling around out towards this B site. They're taking the full gamble. They're rotating around Device. You can see that Glaive's falling back into the A site as well for the faster rotate, and he's actually just going to be playing it from bank. So at this point, if HellRaisers do go in towards that B site, they're going to find us with their backs against it, especially as Stico goes down. Device able to find one in the back of the AWP, and already Zico just being torn limb from limb. Bondic does get one, but the rest of his teammates getting massacred before his very eyes. Xyp9x has gone down, but they weren't able to retrieve the weapon. Zero, Angel, and Bondic. And oh, okay, Bondic's going to go down through the plywood as Device, just asserting dominance over HellRaisers. He might have been asleep a couple of rounds ago, but okay, Angel, never mind, forget it. I was going to compliment him, but down he goes as he does get taken down a peg. 2-on-3. Zero pushing out over towards Monster. Dupree's going to be holding the angle. Kirby's here as well. And they've left Glaive up towards A to watch for any late aggression in towards the site. Still 2 players on this B site. It's going to be an even engagement as Zero walks into the waiting arms of Dupree. He's going to get spotted. Does connect the spray. Down he goes, Kirby. Just going to be able to eagerly pop the head of Angel clean off as well. That's an 8-15 scoreline. Astralis arriving at match point.
1 round away now from finally closing this game out. And I mean, if you look at the shift in how this game's gone, it's crazy to see Device now at the top of the scoreboard, and obviously Zero there not had the best performance into this second half. And he was someone that was doing a fair amount of work towards that B bomb site over on their CT half. They just haven't had much of a chance to build up good momentum on their T half. Not great to see, but let's see if they can switch things up here coming into this. They need to have a flawless performance now. They have no room for error as Astralis is 1 round away from shutting this down and picking up the game here. Device early, scoped in, trying to find someone there. Gonna try and reposition. Look at this though, Bondic in his home territory, playing around the smoke. Will catch them off guard as he says hello, wraps his way down. Will be able to clear up Device. Kirby is low as well. Kirby is panicking at this point, using all of his utility to try and get himself out of there. But Dead Fox is also close by to try and aid his teammate. This could definitely be scary. Kirby hammering down that trigger though, but Dupree does some work. Bondic will eliminate Kirby. It's a 2 versus 3 situation still. HellRaisers could do some damage. Angel actually finds the headshot back on towards Dupree, and it's just Xyp9x left. He's already had a frag into this round. Could he potentially do some more? Bondic will slowly make his approach round. Is he going to clear this angle? No, he won't. Xyp9x can just bide his time. He does eventually check it, but Xyp9x is able to strike upon him. Tries to peek towards the site, but Angel will find it. They keep themselves alive for at most another round.
And at the bank of Glaive, going to be essential here to drop the rest of his team. You can see buys the AWP for Device and an M4. Spending $10,000 Kirby as well investing heavily into this round. They redistribute the economy and everyone's going to have everything they need into this. Rifles across the board for HR. Mobility not going to be an issue, but the AWP lacking on Dead Fox. The one thing that could kind of deal with Device has been removed from the equation. Zero, the first to go down. Device could be going aggressive. A complete change in character almost. Looking at like an entirely different beast altogether. As now Untamed Aggression going to be the order of the day to open things up. Looking to continue his reign of terror as he makes his way over towards Connector. Will be tagged a little bit through the door, but now just falling on back into the safety of the B site, retreating with the man advantage under their belt. They fall on back in towards B.
Bonduk here, trying to achieve something. Such a critical player for the side of HellRaisers as he slowly tiptoes his way around, making his presence known right now towards Toilets, but does begin to back out of there. Links up with Styko. They're going to take that long control. Meanwhile, Device in position down towards B. If they do make their approach there, he would have been able to sniff them out, but he is going to relocate over towards A now.
Angel going to be the sole force in mid to try and come through, but he will have to face off against Glaive, and Glaive going to be coming up trumps in that engagement. 3 on 5 in towards this A site. Players closing in from all sides as Glaive finds himself a second. Dead Fox able to get 1, but Glaive on 3. He's shutting down this push. Dead Fox going to find himself 1v4 back against the wall, and he's able to get 1, but they know exactly where he is. Only 25 seconds left. Pop flashes himself out. Everyone's here, and Dupree to finish things off. That is going to be Astralis to pick this one up. HR, despite a very, very strong first half, struggling there on their T side.
It's true, right? It was a good first half for either team. It went very close, 7-8 scoreline. Astralis edging it out by 1 round. Then a complete flip-flop. Device all of a sudden bounced back in. Entirely different. It looked like we were watching the actual Device in the server compared to what we saw in the first half. It looked like an imposter. And he stepped up massively. Great display of his AWPing prowess there. So many prolific frags. I mean, we saw some of the flicks he was getting. They were just incredibly, incredibly juicy. Thick flicks. Now, overall though, it just seemed like HellRaisers really slowed down a lot more that second half. Weren't able to try and get themselves into as good situations. The only round we did see them win, it was the instant reset that I think really hit them quite hard. After that point, they just had no real answers. I mean, we saw close rounds, but just weren't able to close any of them out.
Yeah, you know, a lot of that was down to the fact that Device woke up. Certainly they had that 5th Astralis player in the server, and it became a, you know, I mean, the first half was close enough when it was essentially a 4 on 5. The second Device actually wakes up and, you know, the beast that is him on that AWP becomes a real threat, then they find themselves on the back foot. But like you said, I think you summed up quite well in the sense of they slowed down a lot. The momentum got sucked out of them considerably. I mean, we saw that they were looking fantastic in that first half with just their ability to kind of keep their economy going, you know, keep all that in good standing. Meanwhile, in the second half, they never had the chance. That instant reset, the thing that comes to mind in terms of just knocking them down a peg. And from that point on, they looked very unstable. And if you remember the charging towards the A site when they were on the eco, that kind of was the thing that woke Device up. You know, I mean, that was kind of the awakening of the beast. From that point on, it all went downhill.
It's true. There were some really, really sick shots that came out there. What we needed to see coming out from them. And it's scary to think that was all it took to actually close that one down. A 16-9 scoreline. I mean, you got 2 rounds in the second half there. Not great. Not good enough from HellRaisers. They had a good performance in the first half. And the thing is, that is on Overpass, a map that we know they can perform quite well on. Mirage is going to be the second map, though. One that is going to be very interesting. Wonder how that is going to go down. Dead Fox was performing very well, but now Device has stepped up. Seems like the Dead Fox will have a harder time of defending that A